let's talk about Georgia Tech. You were pumped to talk about Georgia Tech's schedule. You have been high on Georgia Tech the last 2 years. You continue to be high on them. But when you were looking at it, you you informed me that this was a tough schedule. So I'm gonna let you explain this to our viewers. And if you're listening on Spotify, see we'll be describing the schedule, but um, on YouTube there's some nice graphics. I know we've said that multiple times if you're watching the full video, but yeah, CD, I'll let you take it away.
Listen, I love what Brent Key is doing with the program. I think they're doing a great job, recruiting and using some nice transportal pieces. I like the Haynes King pickup last year. It really worked out for them. But listen, they play 12 games this year, right? They have three buys because they play week 0. So if you see on YouTube, right, that third buy is actually in week 12 in between Miami and North Carolina State. They play 11 FBS football teams. All 11 of them made a bowl game, right? And all of them in the conference. Like you're talking about in conference, you have Florida State at Syracuse, who's getting better under Fran Brown, right? You have Louisville, right? I'm sorry, 10 out of 11, 10 out of 12 teams. That was a mistaken stat. Syracuse didn't. No, Syracuse made a bowl game. What am I talking about? I'm
They
tripping.
did. They got
Regardless,
absolutely murdered. They
yeah, thank you.
didn't have a quarterback, tight end playing quarterback, but
Let me keep going. Right? You got Florida State at Syracuse, right? Not gonna be easy. Fran Brown there in the Carrier Dome, whatever, yada yada yada. At Louisville, right? Not easy on the road there. Duke and Diaz year one, Malik Murphy getting going there midseason at North Carolina, right? North Carolina might take a step back this year for sure, but also you're on the road there. Notre Dame, just throw them in there for shits and giggles. At Virginia Tech, who returns just about the most of anybody in college football, right? According to Bill Connolly and S&P Plus there with freaking 95% of their offense returning. That's not fun for Georgia Tech to play them. You get a bye week, awesome. Now you get Miami and Cam Ward, right? A team that's a very popular pick for the ACC. Another popular pick for the ACC, North Carolina State there, week 13, right before you go to Georgia. I mean, this is about as tough as it gets in the ACC. And for Georgia Tech, I was hoping would look to build on another year. Right? They made a bowl game this year. They hit their over. They upset a team or two, and they really kind of hit their stride and got kind of dangerous down the stretch there. And now it's back down to 5.5 because the schedule is brutal, right? Georgia State, in state, Georgia State, who's I believe right across the way, also in Atlanta there, the Georgia State Panthers there with a new coach, and then also VMI, yada, yada, yada. You got to win those two football games. But I mean, your out of conference is Notre Dame, Georgia. And in conference, you get Florida State, Louisville, Miami, North Carolina State, at Vatech, at Syracuse. I mean, I don't. This is brutal. This is brutal.
yeah. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. And I feel like Georgia State or Georgia Tech, it's always a tough schedule because they play Georgia, right? I mean, it's just always just going to be. It is nice though, I'll say, with the third bye week. It's kind of a nice little dynamic there that they get you get two kind of late buys in the season to kind of collect yourself. One before Miami game and then one before the NC State game. I do like that. I do like that dynamic, and they kind of save their bye, right? So like a lot of teams, they'll play week 0 and then they have that bye week 1. They get their buys week 5, 10, and 12. It's kind of nice, I mean, we talked about trying to manage injuries in college football and resting up. Like they're going to be one of the more fresh teams, I would imagine down the road, because they'll have those multiple weeks off.
I guess it is nice for sure, but also like you're saving your bye week for North Carolina State and Georgia, right? I mean,
Well, Miami and North Carolina State.
well, it's Miami's in between two buys. It's weird. I mean, it goes bye week, Miami, bye week, and then North Carolina State and Georgia. I guess you're right. Yeah, their second bye, you get Miami, which is nice. But still, though, I mean, I don't know. You're gonna have to beat some teams that you're not supposed to beat on the road, right? Albeit to hit that over on a win total and to continue improving under Brent Key. And that's the thing is progress. Yes, it's not linear, but also like we've talked about with Florida, we've talked about with these other teams where you're getting better, right, year over year, but the record just won't say it because like college football, you are not what your record says you are. And you're gonna come to learn that with these teams where like Georgia Tech it's probably going to be 5-7, 6-6, and that's going to be a damn good year for them in the ACC. And they're going to be really giving hell to Miami and North Carolina State and Louisville and even Notre Dame, and other teams because of they're getting better, but it's also like their schedule is brutal for them. Not going to lead to
Yeah.
wins.
Yeah. Although there are some teams though that they could upset. I mean, I know like looking at the schedule, like North Carolina looks like an upset, but when it's all said and done, that might not be necessarily an upset or a big time one at that. Over there week 7. You get Duke at home. That's a winnable game. I mean, like they could get to a bowl game. I'd be very impressed if they got to a bowl game with the schedule. Let's see.
And by the
I'm
way,
looking at
I
like,
would love that.
yeah. Let's go Brent Key. We're rooting for you, pal. We're rooting for you. What's yeah, so Georgia Tech's 46th in returning production rating. So um oh, they're playing a lot of teams in that ballpark right there. 47 is Georgia, 45 Miami, 44 Louisville. Um yeah, this is a tough schedule. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.